Like, share and subscribe. Wedding Countdown. Planning a successful wedding requires careful planning. We have created timeline for some of the most important elements of your wedding planning process. 1 year before your wedding day, or any time after your engagement. Announce your engagement. Determine the wedding date. The bride and groom should introduce the parents, if they haven't already met. Set your budget. Hire the wedding planner. Research possible reception sites. Make a rough draft of the guest list. Join a fitness club if you aren't already a member at one. Planning and going through your wedding is going to be a lot of fun, but you will need to be in good shape to handle the demands of the wedding planning process. Research your bridal shower favors and wedding favors. 6 to 9 months before. Decide on your caterer. Hunt for your wedding gown. Select your wedding party. Book a DJ or a band. Sign up with a bridal gift registry. Shop for the bridal attendant's dresses. Choose a florist. Hire a photographer and a videographer. 4 to 6 months before. Finalize your wedding guest list. Search for a hotel for your out-of-town guests. Order your wedding invitations. Purchase your wedding gown. Call the bakeries or cake decorators in your area to check for date availability. Make travel arrangements for your honeymoon. 2 to 4 months before. Order your wedding favors. Shop for your wedding bands. Find out about your state's marriage license procedures. Reserve or purchase the tuxedos for the groom and groomsmen. If required by your state, get a blood test. Finalize your wedding reception menu with your caterer. Order your wedding cake. Contact your ceremony site about your ceremony music. Make arrangements about your reception music DJ or band. Organize the rehearsal dinner. Reserve tables and other necessary items with a party rental company. 1 to 2 months before. Run a complete test of your wedding makeup and hairdo. Invite some friends with you. Mail or deliver the wedding invitations 1-3 weeks before. Complete the final seating chart for the wedding reception. Contact photographer with the details of the ceremony and reception sites. Provide your reception venue with a final head count based on the RSVPs received. If necessary, make final adjustments to your wedding gown. Facials should be booked for the bride, groom and bridesmaids. Get your luggage ready for the honeymoon. Your bridesmaid or a reliable friend should make sure the following items are promptly delivered: toasting glasses, band-aids, nail clippers, cake knife, emergency sewing kit. Last minute. Most importantly, relax. This is supposed to be a fun experience. You are about to experience one of the best days of your life. Welcome your out-of-town guests. To help you relax, do some light physical exercise. Have your hairstylist and makeup artist do their magic on you. Keep smiling, it's your special day. Wedding decorations. Part of planning for a wedding is selecting appropriate decorations. Here are some ideas that may help in your wedding preparations. Flowers are traditional. Flowers have become an essential part of almost every wedding. From the bride's bouquet to the corsages worn by her attendants and the boutonnieres on the groom and his friends, flowers enhance the outfits of all the principal players. Flowers are also an important aspect of the wedding decorations in the church or hall where the wedding is held. They can be arranged in vases at the altar and in the lobby or attached to the ends of the rows of seats. And no wedding reception would look right without a vase of flowers on every table. In selecting flowers for the big event, think of the colors of the bridesmaids' dresses and what types of flowers will be in season on the wedding date. Selecting seasonal flowers may help reduce the cost. Shop around to find a florist who understands both your taste and your budget. Creative people can buy flowers and arrange them on their own. Remember that this will take some time and cannot be done too early because flowers are perishable. It may be necessary to find refrigerator space to keep them cold so they will last longer. Transporting flower arrangements without disturbing them can be difficult, so it may be best to arrange the flowers at the place where the wedding is being held. Candles give a warm glow. Candles make a wonderful choice for wedding decorations. The color chosen can coordinate or contrast with the flowers. Pillars, tapers or even floating candles should be considered. Select candle holders that complement the candles and flowers. There are many choices for candles in a vast array of colors and scents online and in local stores. Safety is always a concern with candles. Be sure they are placed where they will not set drapery or other flammable items on fire. Wait to light them until just before guests will enter the area where they are located. Once guests have left an area, be sure to snuff out all the candles remaining there. Table settings make an impact. The table settings at the wedding reception will be photographed and long remembered. Choose attractive linens, china, cutlery and glassware that go well with the wedding style and colors. Since these items usually belong to the hotel or hall where the reception is held, people may not think of them as wedding decorations. Even though the bride and groom will not own them after the event, choosing them carefully is just as important as picking out the other visual elements that go into the wedding plan. Some smaller hotels may have a limited selection of tableware. If it's a small wedding and having an elegant table is important to the happy couple, they may wish to borrow appropriate china and glassware from their parents or rent it from a rental company for the day. Casual wedding. Casual style. For those holding a more casual style of wedding, the decorations may be less elaborate. An outdoor wedding may call for tiki torches and a flowering trellis. Wedding decorations for a country western wedding might include saddles, boots, cactus and cowboy hats. Other possible wedding themes are limited only by the imaginations of the happy couple. Whatever they select, there are wedding decorations to go along with their plans. Since the bride and groom will be leaving on their honeymoon during the reception, it may be desirable to designate a friend or relative to collect any wedding decorations that could have sentimental value or future use. Candles will probably not be consumed during the wedding. Flowers will last for at least a few more days and the vases can be recycled for a future event. Perhaps a welcome home bouquet and candle decoration made of the wedding leftovers could be placed in the new couple's home to greet them when they return from their honeymoon. Wedding favors everyone will love. It's common practice that the bride and groom will offer a small token of appreciation to their wedding reception guests, commonly known as wedding favors. There are many different kinds of wedding favors. Wedding favors vary in material and purpose. The savviest brides often seamlessly integrate the wedding favors into their wedding theme. For example, a beach wedding may have beach wedding favors, such as flip-flop candles as wedding favors. A common characteristic of wedding favors is that they're usually inexpensive. Brides and grooms usually spend no more than a few dollars per guest. Many brides chose to make their own wedding favors, but most will end up purchasing them ready-made. It's important to remember that the primary purpose of the wedding favor is to show your appreciation toward your wedding reception guests, your friends and your family. The most popular wedding favors are edible. The most popular edible wedding favors are chocolate. Personalized chocolates are especially popular with brides and wedding guests. Let's face it, everybody loves chocolates, so chocolate wedding favors are a sure hit with wedding guests of all age. While some wedding favors may be more popular with women than men or vice versa, chocolate is a gender-neutral wedding favor. To make chocolate wedding favors even more exciting, some companies offer personalized chocolate wedding favors. Personalization adds a special touch of elegance to your wedding favors. The personalization service includes printing the names of the bride and groom on the front of the candy wrapper. Some companies even offer to print a special message from the bride and groom on the back of the wrapper. Not only that, the personalized chocolate wedding favors can include the names of the bride and groom, but they can be color coordinated to fit the wedding colors. Wedding favors inexpensive and elegant. Wedding favors have become a must for most weddings. Brides cannot imagine having no wedding favors. As they launch preparations for the wedding, they begin looking at possibilities: candy, chocolate, candles, seeds, coasters, cookies, tea. The list seems endless. Unfortunately for some, the list may seem to offer nothing that is both inexpensive and elegant. They may feel that they're forced to choose between the two. Inexpensive, elegant wedding favors must exist, they reason, but where can you find them? A Humane Society donation wedding favor may be the answer. These inexpensive, elegant wedding favors are a tasteful way of showing that you care for animals and believe your guests care also. Humane Society donation wedding favors. Humane Society donation wedding favors are easy on the bride, and at such a busy time of her life that alone makes these wedding favors a great choice. There is no shopping to be done. No boxes arrive, needing to be unpacked. Nothing must be assembled. No tags wait to be added. To get Humane Society donation wedding favors, all you need to do is contact the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals (ASPCA) through their website. A search engine will find it for you quickly. Tell the ASPCA what amount of money you would like to donate to help care for animals. Then tell them how many guests you expect at your wedding. After that, just sit back and let the ASPCA do the rest. The ASPCA will send you enough place cards for your entire guest list. The small white cards are quite elegant, each one bearing the ASPCA symbol on the front in silver. Beneath the silver symbol are the letters ASPCA. Humane Society donation wedding favors. Tell your guests that you've made a donation in their names in lieu of a wedding favor. There will be no indication of the amount you've given, so whether it's large or small, only you and the ASPCA representative will know. Inexpensive, elegant wedding favors. These inexpensive, elegant wedding favors offer you a number of advantages. Inexpensive. This is, of course, a relative term. A donation of $1,000 might be termed inexpensive if you are inviting 1,000 guests. You are getting wedding favors for a mere $1 per guest. If you are on a smaller budget, your wedding favor donation could be much less than $1,000. Perhaps you really have little to spend on any kind of wedding favors. A small flute-shaped bottle filled with bubbles, its white top said to look like champagne foam, might cost only 20 cents per guest, and that may be all you can afford. But suppose you donated the same amount to the Humane Society. You would still get inexpensive wedding favors, but they would not appear to be inexpensive. The ASPCA has no minimal donation amount. Nor do they limit donations at the upper end. Whatever you can give for your wedding favors is appreciated. Elegant. Those little champagne bubble bottles would not seem the least bit elegant. Most inexpensive wedding favors don't. The same amount of money, however, donated to the Humane Society, will give you elegant wedding favors that look as though your donation was much, much more. You'll have gone from tacky to chic with one small action. Respect. Your friends are likely to respect your decision to make a donation in place of giving wedding favors. Many will probably compliment you on your gracious deed. You may even find that a few looking forward to their own weddings will ask how you made the donation. Satisfaction. You begin your married life knowing that you did something meaningful, showed compassion to animals in need. You will gain a sense of satisfaction from the knowledge that your wedding favors had real value. How much to give? Humane Society donation wedding favors can be purchased for any amount as noted above. The ASPCA will send as many wedding favor cards as you need. But how much do you want to give? Would you be willing to feed a cat for a year? Would you be able to donate enough to feed one medium-sized dog from now until your first wedding anniversary? Perhaps you could feed 2, 3 or 4 animals. Which ones would you choose? Let these figures guide you as you choose a wedding favor donation amount. They show how much it would cost to feed different animals for 1 year. Figures taken from the ASPCA website. 1 goldfish $20 *, 1 small rat $50 * 1 small bird $75 * 1 guinea pig $75 * 1 rabbit $156 * 1 cat $170 * 1 small dog $160 * 1 medium dog $310 * 1 large dog $350. Perhaps the bridal couple was intending to get their own pet as soon as they returned from the honeymoon. If you put that money into Humane Society donation wedding favors, what difference could you make? If you waited and got your pet as a first wedding anniversary gift instead, how much could you donate for your wedding favors? Look at the annual cost after purchase or adoption of pet ownership for 1 year. Again, these figures are from the ASPCA website. * 1 goldfish $235 * 1 small rat $340 * 1 small bird $195 * 1 guinea pig $645 * 1 rabbit $911 * 1 cat $715. 1 small dog $810 1 medium dog $1,190 1 large dog $1,580 Inexpensive elegant wedding favors in the form of a Humane Society donation can cost as little or as much as you decide to give. Helpful tip. Years from now, when you look back at your wedding, you'll be glad that you gave these wedding favors. When you make your donation, and order your wedding favors, don't forget to order one for your wedding scrapbook. Wedding favors with a difference. Traditional weddings are rapidly making way for more off-the-wall innovative weddings. Sugared almonds and bonbonniere are being replaced by alternatives such as CD wedding favors. Also, as many more couples are choosing to tie the knot abroad, beach theme wedding favors are becoming increasingly popular. For some couples, the choice to marry abroad is driven by the cost of a huge wedding, not to mention the time they've to wait to secure a venue. For others, it's purely to tie the wedding in with the honeymoon. Some couples base their decision on family feuds and choose to marry alone overseas without family members interfering with their big day. Whatever people's rationale behind the choice, a wedding is as individual and unique as a person, and this should be very much reflected throughout. Whether marrying abroad alone with friends and family or having a reception on your return, you need to think about wedding favors for your guests. Beach theme wedding favors come in a huge variety, and their popularity continues to increase as more couples opt for beach weddings. You may choose to give them to your guests on the day, or you may choose to give them to guests back home who could not travel to enjoy your special day. By giving beach theme wedding favors, family and friends can feel very much a part of your beach wedding even if they were not there to experience it in person. CD wedding favors are also a fantastic way of involving guests in your special day. For those who attend, you could put together a soundtrack of you and your partner's favorite songs, or perhaps the song that you for your first dance. Alternatively, if you choose to marry without family and friends present, you may record your vows on a DVD. On your return home, you can give your CD wedding favors to your nearest and dearest, who will instantly feel a part of your wonderful day. My husband and I chose to marry abroad, and there was nothing more fantastic than saying our vows with sand between our toes. We took family with us, and because of the nature of the wedding, we opted for beach theme wedding favors for our small party on the day. Of course, many loved family members and friends were not able to join us on our special day, so we supplied them with beach theme wedding favors and a CD wedding favor of the event. Wedding etiquette. Your most common wedding etiquette dilemmas solved. As one of the biggest and most potentially stressful events of your life, getting engaged and subsequently planning a wedding brings with it an onslaught of questions. As times change and weddings evolve, traditional rules of etiquette have followed suit, only adding to the confusion. To gain perspective, first understand that etiquette is above all about treating people with courtesy and making them feel comfortable. When an etiquette question arises, consider the feelings of those who will be affected. To steer you through the fog of questions, I've compiled a quick look at the top 5 most common wedding etiquette dilemmas: family etiquette, invitation etiquette, gift etiquette, attire etiquette, and the cash bar issue. Family etiquette. Introducing your parents. If the bride and groom's parents have not met prior to the engagement, tradition dictates that the groom's family calls and introduces themselves to the bride's family and arranges a meeting. If the groom's parents don't make the first introduction, then the bride's parents should. Nowadays, who makes the first call is irrelevant. All that really matters is that the parents meet. If meeting face to face is impossible, a letter or phone call will suffice. Introducing divorced parents. If the groom's parents are divorced, the parent with the closest relationship to the groom should take the first step in meeting the bride's parents. If both sets are divorced, the parent closest to the groom should first contact the bride's suggested parent. If number 1 begins the introduction process, the couple should step in and ensure that everyone meets while refraining from forcing potentially awkward situations. Your in-laws. The groom's parents often feel left out of the planning process. To avoid this, invite your future in-laws into the initial dialogue. You should immediately inform them of your ideas regarding location, date, size, and style of the wedding. Take cues on their desired level of involvement and include them accordingly. Let them make offers to pitch in with finances or planning. Above all, keep them informed throughout your engagement. Invitation etiquette. Inviting partners and guests. If an invited guest is married, engaged, or living with a significant other, that partner must be included in the invitation. A single invitation addressed to both individuals should be sent to spouses or couples who live together, while separate invitations should be sent to each member of an engaged or long-term couple who don't live together. Inviting single guests with a date is a thoughtful gesture, but one that is not required. If you are inviting a single guest with a date, try to find out the name of your friend's intended date and include that person's name on the invitation. Otherwise, inner envelopes may include and guest, indicating that he or she may bring any chosen escort or friend. Guests who ask to bring a guest. Your guests should know better. It's never appropriate for a guest to ask to bring a date, and you have every right to politely say no. However, if you discover that a guest is engaged or living with a significant other, you should extend a written or verbal invitation. Invitations to out-of-town guests. Many brides ponder whether or not it's appropriate to invite long-distance guests for whom it may be impossible to attend. Use your best judgment. Is this person truly a close friend who would want to attend your celebration? If so, failing to extend an invitation may be insulting. Remember, these days friends and family are often spread all over the country and people are accustomed to traveling. On the other hand, if you haven't spoken in years, an invitation may look like no more than a request for a gift. In those cases, send a wedding announcement instead, which carries no gift-giving obligation. Gift-giving etiquette. Yes, we all love to receive gifts, and weddings are a perfect occasion for gift-giving. Friends and loved ones customarily honor the commitment of the newly betrothed by showering them with gifts. As the happy couple, just remember to always feel privileged, not entitled. So let's review a bit of etiquette as it relates to wedding gifts. 1. Never mention gifts, gift choices, or gift registry on the invitation. 2. Publicize your registry information by word of mouth. It's also acceptable to include it on a wedding website or shower invitation, since showers are not typically hosted by the bride or groom. 3. There's no polite way to ask for cash gifts. This can only be done through word of mouth. 4. Honeymoon registries are appropriate. 5. Don't use any gifts until after a wedding. 6. All gifts, even shower gifts, must be returned if the wedding is cancelled or annulled before living together as a married couple. 7. Gift giving for vow renewal, reaffirmation ceremonies, or encore weddings is not mandatory, but is a nice gesture. 8. There is no special formula for determining the appropriate amount a guest should spend on a gift. The idea that each gift should cost as much as one plate at the reception is an impractical misconception. Attire etiquette. While rules for modern wedding attire have evolved with the times, there are still traditional standards for fabrics, lengths, and styles. Here are some guidelines. The formality of your bridesmaids' dresses should match that of your wedding dress. Although traditionally the dresses were the same length as the wedding gown, the rise in popularity of T and knee-length bridesmaids' dresses has relaxed that rule. As long as the fabric and overall style matches the formality of your floor-length gown, shorter bridesmaids' dresses are perfectly acceptable. For evening weddings, guests should dress for a nice dinner or event, which includes suits or black tie for men and dresses or skirts in sophisticated colors and fabrics for women. Lengths can vary according to the style of the event and location. Female guests may now wear black but never white. The cash bar issue. Yes, weddings are expensive. Yes, couples should be on the lookout for budget-saving tips. Yes, weddings are expensive, we know. But never under any circumstances should you ever consider hosting a cash bar at your reception. Think about it, you would never ask anyone to pay for a cocktail in your own home. People at your reception are still your guests even if the event is not held in your house. That said, if a full bar is not within your budget, consider these alternatives. Host a soft bar in which guests can order champagne, beer, and wine. Find a reception site that allows you to bring in your own alcohol. You'll save serious cash, and anything unopened can be returned for a full refund. Cut down the size of your guest list, the only significant way to reduce costs in the first place. Wedding decorations. Making your wedding day beautiful. Usually the task of choosing the wedding decorations is delegated to the bride and the female members of the family and entourage. However, it's still preferred that the groom should also help in conceptualizing the decorations to be used for the wedding. Here are some aspects to consider when deciding on what decorations to be used in the wedding. Mood. Will the wedding be formal or casual? Do you want it to be traditional or contemporary? This will help in deciding what candles, flowers, balloons, and other venue enhancements will you be needing. Color scheme. Consider the main color to be used for the decorations. This may be the couple's favorite color, a color that can be associated with their hobby, or the color that's preferred during the season. Make sure that the color of the decorations will go well with what the members of the entourage and the guests will be wearing. Site. Take pictures of the wedding site as early as possible so that you can check the pictures while considering a decorating idea. Time. Usually, decorations can only be set at the church and at the reception within 1 to 2 hours before the event. Therefore, you must consider decorations that don't take much time to mount. Also, these decorations should also be taken down right after the event. Guests. Consider how many will attend the wedding reception and how big is the site. With the number of guests that you'll be having, can you still set up bigger decorations that will take some floor space? If you've a large number of guests, you may just want to set up floor decorations near the stage and dance floor where most of the program will take place. Also, you might want to opt for smaller but finely detailed table decorations. Also consider if there will be kids who will be attending the wedding reception. Kids may get bored during the program and start playing with the decorations that can cause an unsightly mess. So you may just get decorations that are not so fragile. Another tip: if you'll be having several kids as guests, you may have a kids area where they can mingle with other kids and where the decorations and food are more suited for their age * budget. Improperly chosen decorating ideas will not look well even if these cost much. Also, choosing just 2 or 3 decorating ideas, as long as these are implemented well, can make a ceremony and reception look lavish. Also, it's not necessary to buy every item that will be used as decorations. Some professional decorators can give you information on vases, mirrors, table centerpieces, dried flower arrangements, archways, pedestals, and plants that will only be used for one day. With these, just adding a few candles, laces, and fresh flowers will make your wedding site and reception exquisite. A final budgeting advice: check with the wedding right venue director if there are other weddings that will take place during the day. If so, you may want to coordinate with the couple that will be using the venue before or after you. They may agree with your decorating ideas or add some of their own and agree to just split the decorating expenses with you. Wedding flowers. Flower power. Look taken from a book. Catching the bride's bouquet automatically puts you next in line for the next blushing bride to walk up the aisle, according to another of the old wives' tales. Belief in yarns of yesterday should leave me standing Beth for a court of law for bigamy. But tradition is tradition, and the tossing of the bouquet is part of a wedding that all guests look forward to, especially the single women in line ready for action. These women in attempt take claim of the bridal bouquet and tend to jump higher than any 7-feet basketball player. This part of the wedding celebration can prove to be very entertaining for other guests looking on. Flowers are a vital part of any wedding ceremony. Blooms are believed to symbolize new hope and a prosperous future ahead for the couple. Church aisles, pews covered in flower blossoms will send a sweet fragrance of freshness throughout the air. Also, traditional flower arrangements and settings implement beauty at weddings. There are so many pretty natures of the earth to choose from. Orchids, lilies, and roses are flowers that are commonly used to make pretty teardrop bouquets, which once again is a common handheld bridal piece for the bride of today. Depending on the theme of the wedding, flower types other than orchids, roses, lilies may change also colors. If money is tight and restricting you from having the flowers you dream of, then why not consider making your own bouquet? Have a little trail run with silk flowers that you may have picked up cheaply at a garage or car boot sale. If you are happy with your first attempt and in your dummy run on making a bouquet, then get started on making your dream come true by doing it your way. After you've chose the flowers you would like, keep in mind your theme when spicing up the bouquet church with stunning colors. Always check for the availability on the flower type of your choice before the final decision to go ahead, as this particular bloom may be out of season. Flowers like orchids, baby's breath, roses, and gardenia are available no matter what time of the year. Now that you've made up your mind, be sure to order the flowers for the bridal bouquet on the day of the event if possible, therefore a guarantee of fresher than fresh. You will need about 3 dozen of your selected flowers depending on the size you have in mind for your handheld posy bouquet, a sharp scissor, florist tape, and ribbons. Now take a visit down to local library and pick up a good book on flower arranging, which will give tips and guidance. Ideas to spruce up your wedding day in a way you never dreamed possible will leave you mentally scarred with excitement. Books give detailed pictures on how to make bouquets, table centerpieces, and much more in simple and easy steps to follow. If you are content with your finished creation, stand yourself in front of the mirror. This will give you an insight as to what others will see when you walk up the aisle. Want to know what they see besides a woman full of determination who did it all herself? Is a bride as pretty as a picture because she kept with tradition where flower power made her day. Wedding favors. Practical favors favored by all. The bride and groom are now man and wife at the time when the giving of wedding gift favors is appropriate. Now that the perfect wedding ceremony has come to an end, tokens of gratitude are presented to family and friends to say thank you for being part of our special day. There are fabulous items in abundance to give as your wedding favors, but deciding what they are to be is the problem. The size of your guest list and budget allowance will most definitely have an effect on what you give as your thank you token. Money will dominate and may well limit your choice of the wedding gift favors. Problems like this are easily solved. Don't invite anyone or elope. Just a suggestion, but if you intend on sticking around for the big day, then bulk buy to cut costs. Going back in time when gift favors came into existence, it was believed that the married couple were showered with luck if gift giving took place. By giving a thank you donation to all attendees, then it was considered that the bride and groom intentions were to share their luck. Wedding favors and their beginning became traditional among upper-class people hundreds of years ago. In Italy and France, bonbonnieres were given to each guest as wedding favors. These dainty delicacies were placed into fancy boxes which could be made of porcelain or crystal embedded with precious sparkling stones. Later down the line, others followed suit with this practice of giving wedding favors. To sweeten up the occasion, almonds became popular at weddings. Almonds were supposed to denote happiness, wealth, health, and fertility. Even though these almond favors were given in the history years, they're very common at modern weddings today, all sugared up and candy coated. We now live in a different era where the giving of wedding favors still stands, if not with more preferences than the days gone by. It's a very important part of a wedding. Practical thinking on wedding favors makes practical gifts. Useful items that can be used in the kitchen or bathroom are great ideas brought into force in many modern weddings. Not all wedding favors were of this nature. Things like personalized candles and smellies were warmly welcomed by guests. At the end of the day, this is your wedding and your word is final on what to give. As long as those final words "I do" took at the altar came from the heart, then that alone will stay with your guests as a keepsake in memory for years to come. Wedding dresses. Undoubtedly, a wedding is one of the most precious and memorable moments in life. To make this occasion more remarkable, certain customs have been practiced, like the special wedding dress, the wedding cake, etc. The bride's dress is given special importance and care is taken to make her look like an angel in her beautiful wedding gown. The phrase "dressed up" is perfectly suited for a wedding where both the bride and the groom are in their best attire. The wedding dress is the dress worn by the bride during the wedding ceremony. Dress maketh a man. Befittingly, the wedding dress or the bridal gown is usually gorgeous and graceful to reflect the most precious moment in life, marriage. The color, texture, design, etc. of the wedding gown is naturally the bride's choice. White is a popular color for American wedding dresses, as white is associated with qualities like purity, peace, and chastity. Nevertheless, the gown may also be in shades of white like ivory or eggshell. The background of the wedding governs the nature of the wedding attire. In other words, the society, the culture, and the customs followed by the parties involved in the wedding are key factors in the making of the wedding dress. In the earlier days, any color other than black or red was acceptable for the wedding gown. A face veil was also worn. The custom of wearing a white dress at a wedding was imitated from the royal weddings, wherein the queen wore a beautiful white wedding gown with a long train behind. This idea was gained from peacocks, which were honored as royal birds. For the Chinese, the red dress is the most preferred one for weddings. The Chinese consider red to be a lucky color. The Indians also consider red as a color of good omen, so brides in India wear a red sari, which is bright and colorful too. But this color is avoided in Western countries. Wedding favors ideas you want to know. Sending guests home with a little something to remember the night by is a classy touch to any wedding. And they don't have to be extravagant gifts to make a nice impression. Do you buy or do you make? When it comes to the list of things to do for a wedding, you may already be feeling overwhelmed. So why make another chore for yourself with homemade wedding favors? Favors can be easily bought from local craft stores. All you've to do is make them personalized, or don't. Of course, homemade wedding do feel more special. Sachets and small tokens are simple to create in an afternoon. You may even decide to enlist the help of the wedding party. A little food and win will get them to help. The usual suspects. If you've ever been to another wedding, you may have already seen these suggestions for wedding favors. Small bags of candies or nuts are always nice to place next to each person's placeholder. On the same vein, small boxes of chocolate with a nice ribbon or card indicating the wedding date are nice favors too. Many brides and grooms have chosen to give personalized wedding favors. Matchbooks, candles with holders, champagne glasses and even CDs can be inscribed with the couple's name and wedding date as a way to commemorate the day. If you want to be unique for the non-traditional bride and groom, you may want to give a little something different. If you've a themed wedding, you can try to give a gift that incorporates that theme. A Vegas wedding might necessitate giving decks of cards or poker chips. If you are having a more Renaissance-style affair, then you can give small sachets of herbs or flowers such as lavender. And for an outdoor wedding, small bells might be a great gift to give. The altruistic couple may want to make personal donations in the name of their guests. These can be designated on small cards at each person's seat. Or the couple may decide to offer each guest a picture from the wedding that they can choose from the ones that have been taken. In any case, wedding favors are a great way to commemorate a special day for both the couple and their guests. Thank your relatives and friends for supporting you and loving you enough to be with you on this happiest of days. Wedding flowers for a miraculous day. A quick guide to planning your wedding flowers. You've set the special day and there is so much to do to get ready. The excitement is consuming you to the point that you just want to burst, and there are so many preparations that you barely know where to start. So just relax for a minute, take a deep breath and read this quick and easy guide to help reduce stress and help ensure a picture-perfect day with these easy tips from design professionals. Point 1. Stone things first. One of the first things you need to do in planning your wedding is to select the dresses. You can call your florist up to a year in advance, but you usually won't need to meet with him or her until you know what you and your bridesmaids will be wearing. The bride and bridesmaids' gowns will be the key to the wedding, and everything will need to revolve around them. Once you've selected the gowns, get a few pictures to bring in. Next, pick up 2 or 3 of the top bridal magazines and look through them. Clip pictures of any floral presentations that particularly appeal to you. These will help your floral consultant understand the styles, colors, and flower types you like best and design something that will fit your tastes. Choosing a wedding florist. Before calling florists, ask friends and relatives if they've any recommendations. The best wedding florists typically do lots of weddings. So it's likely you know people who have used their services or seen their work. Then call or visit a few of the best florists. Confirm that they serve the locations where your ceremony and reception will be held and inquire about setting up a consultation. You may also want to ask if they have pictures of their work. Quality wedding florists are seasoned professionals who will guide you through the process and help you select what's right for you. The important thing is to get to know your floral designer, discuss options, look at specific flowers and colors together, and make sure you are comfortable. This is your special day, so you need to make sure you've someone experienced, reliable, and creative to help you plan your special day. Timing. If possible, you should have the dresses picked out and a meeting scheduled with your florist about 6 months prior to the wedding. Remember, you don't want another bridal party or parties to beat you to your florist of choice for a particular date, so earlier is better. If you've an indecisive personality or just want moral support, bring a mother or bridesmaid along for input. 2 heads are sometimes better than 1, but avoid having too many cooks spoil the soup. Meeting with your florist. Wedding flowers can be anywhere from a few $100 for an intimate nuptial to tens of $1,000s for an impressive ceremony and reception. A lot depends on the location, number of guests, and how you want your wedding to be remembered. Be upfront with your florist about your wishes and your approximate budget. Show the designer your pictures of the dresses or fabric swatches and any magazine photos that you like. Ask about color variations as well as which flowers will be in season and consequently the best value. You should also consider the vitality of the flowers so that you'll have great looking pieces that won't fade over the course of the day. Listen to your florist's suggestions. If you did your research and picked a good one, she will know from experience how to bring your desires to reality. Enhancing your special day. When considering wedding flowers, the key elements are the bridal bouquet selections for the bridal party and parents, decorations for the church or ceremony, and centerpieces for the reception. Consider table coverings woven completely of flowers for the guest card table and discuss ways you might use some pieces at both the ceremony and reception. Many florists will even provide the transportation services. To make the celebration extra special, you may want to consider small accent pieces for doorways, pews, cake, altar, and even the car. Single flowers placed at each table setting are an exquisite touch, and encouraging guests to take home the centerpieces will make your wedding especially memorable. Many florists can also provide plants, votive candles, candelabra, linens, and other decorations, often on a rental basis to save you money. Anything is possible. No matter what you see in magazines or at other ceremonies, remember that almost anything is possible when it comes to wedding flowers. The two wedding flower designers interviewed for this article are both good examples. One is an expert on Hindu weddings, creating gorgeous canopies of flowers under which the couple is married, and the other has incorporated feathers, twigs, candles, and even street signs into his designs. But more importantly, both have mastered the art of working with each bride to create something special just for her. So whether you are looking for traditional or contemporary, lavish or understated, your qualified professional florist is there to make that day go perfect. After all, you only get married once. Courtesy of http://www.phillips-flowers.com. Phillips Flowers, a third-generation family-owned florist specializing in custom wedding flowers throughout Chicago and the surrounding suburbs, with thanks to wedding specialists John Windisk and George Mattingly for their contributions. This article may be republished in its entirety as long as the byline and links above are included. Wedding dress perfection: petite or pleasantly plump? The biggest challenge for any bride to be is making the right decision when choosing her wedding dress, besides that of choosing the ideal partner she wants to spend the rest of her life with. This is where the bride gets to live her dream of being princess for the day. So what are we waiting for? Let's go make your dream come true. Brides-to-be need to consider the comfort level when buying the wedding dress. If the dress causes you extreme discomfort, then expect all dances at the reception be that of a waltz. Heaven forbid should you take to the floor to do the hippie shake. Keep in mind that if the dress is tight, it can hamper your circulation, causing you to faint. Plans for the wedding dress usually start months before the set date, well in advance in some cases. What you've to remember: once you have chosen the gown, you have to stick with your diet. No piling on the pounds only to lose them, with more expense incurred where the wedding dress has to be altered. Styles of wedding dress gown selections can be chosen personally from a bridal shop. Magazines are also a good choice for making your selection and for gathering some useful tips on wedding plans. An important factor that has to be addressed is body types. Petite to pleasantly plump figure shapes will definitely need to be taken into consideration when making that decision in what will or will not suit your frame. Either way, regardless of size, the right choice will have you looking beautiful on the day. To find the perfect wedding dress is to be prepared to make a day of it where the trying of many will be in abundance. Vera Wang is one of the famous names in the world of weddings. VW is noted for the detailing put into her gowns, along with luxurious craftsmanship, also an additional bonus of personal hand beading. Famous stars like Mariah Carey, Jessica Simpson line up in the wedding queue, not forgetting Jennifer Lopez, Uma Thurman. If your budget allows, then go all out for a designer dress. Other options for the pocket which says go easy on the pennies. In addition to the more traditional bridal shops, check out discount stores, charity shops. Even going online at eBay is another fine option recommended and far less expensive. Common sense prevails when buying the perfect wedding dress online. Because of the way the purchase is to be handled, it's a good chance that you only get to see the dress by photo, so be sure to check measurements and be specific when asking details on the condition of the dress. Another important factor is to double check on the person selling before going ahead with any transaction involving money. If it's a traditional wedding theme that you've in mind for the wedding, then go for a vintage dress. Vintage dresses intend to discolor, so check this out before making a purchase. Remember, vintage represents old, so check for wear or tear. Vintage dress fabrics dating back to the 1900s and earlier have a tendency to deteriorate. Setting your heart on a specific design only to find that it's not available due to age or over your budget limit, then make inquiries for a reproduction of the chosen wedding dress you had in mind. You can find many stores that focus particularly on reproduction dresses where designed wedding gowns on specific themes or periods of time hang in dozens on rails waiting to be snapped up. Dreams do come true if you make them happen. Well girls, what are you waiting for? Your dream theme is just waiting to happen. Wedding dress trends. Top wedding dress styles for the modern bride. Weddings are all about personal style. Reflecting the overall trend of breaking away from tradition and steadfast rules, modern brides are choosing wedding gowns that reflect their personality and vision, not necessarily their grandmother's. The only rule for wedding dress style these days is to choose a style that suits you. Whether that means wearing a gold wedding dress, trouser suit, or sundress, go with it. And even if you are more traditional and have always envisioned yourself as the fairy princess in the white satin ball gown, you needn't worry about being perceived as old-fashioned or not with the times. The modern rule for wedding dress style is to choose something that makes you feel comfortable and beautiful on your most special day. The 21st century bride. That said, although certain traditional dress styles are always popular, bridal fashion does follow mainstream fashion to some extent. So if you are looking for something a little more contemporary, or now consider turning to the catwalks for inspiration. The currently popular 20s and floral style dresses can be easily incorporated into a wedding dress. Accessories such as chandelier earrings can also transfer from the catwalks to comprise your wedding look. Try to avoid fashion that will date quickly, however, as you will want to display your wedding photographs for a long time. As a general rule, keep your wedding ensemble fashionably forward, not overly trendy. Today's hot wedding dress trends. Add some color. Using a wedding dress to bring out a colorful personality, modern brides are not afraid to add a splash of color to the traditional white gown. Whether that means adding a colored ribbon or piece of jewelry or foregoing the white wedding dress altogether, today's brides find inventive ways to incorporate color into their wedding attire. Particularly popular shades are blue, pink, cappuccino, and champagne. Lace up. Lace has made a recent comeback, exuding a look vintage romance that is feminine yet not overdone. Many brides are enchanted by lace, envisioning a majestic day in a lush green garden. Magnificent embroidery. For an ultra-elegant, opulent feel, glamour girls savor wedding gowns adorned with intricate hand-embroidered details. This look warrants grand chandeliers, candlelight, and an aisle of red roses. Ultra-feminine. As seen on the runway, feminine details are making a big impact. Ribbons, ruffles, flowers, and bows are finding their way back onto wedding dresses and taking femininity to a new level. Brides who envision themselves floating along the cobblestones of a historic mansion will love this look. For a complete guide to keeping your sanity while creating an elegant and memorable wedding celebration, your ultimate wedding planning resource. Wedding favors. Important things you need to know. The history of wedding favors dates back several centuries ago in European countries. People then believed that weddings were a fortunate occasion and that the giving of wedding favors by the groom and bride is a way of sharing that luck to family and friends. Wedding favors began as a tradition of upper-class families in Europe centuries ago. French and Italian families would hand out bonbonnieres to guests as wedding favors. These confectionery delicacies are placed in small fancy boxes made of metal, crystal, or porcelain. The boxes are also decorated with precious stones that create a precious keepsake for guests. Later on, other social classes took on the tradition of giving wedding favors to their guests. Almonds were popular wedding favors given by couples in the earlier days. People believed that the almonds represented longevity, happiness, wealth, health, and fertility. Up to now, almonds are still common wedding favors given by couples in the form of candy-coated almonds. Modern-day wedding favors. Wedding favors are now an essential part of the preparations for the wedding day. Couples have limitless choices for wedding favors. Wedding favors can be bought or made to match the style of the couple's wedding. Couples can choose to have either practical or decorative wedding favors to give away to family and friends. Many sensible couples opt to give out practical wedding favors that guests can use afterwards. These can either be small kitchen gadgets like salt and pepper shakers, coasters, or cookie cutters. While other couples choose to give out soaps and candles as wedding favors. Ideas for wedding favors. Ideas for wedding favors can be as wild as the imagination can get. Couples can come up with the wildest wedding favors for their giveaway to family and friends. Wedding favors also come in a variety of prices that helps make it easier for couples to find the right gift at the right price. Couples can choose to have wedding favors that symbolize the theme of the wedding. Wedding favors can also be selected in relation to the season in which the wedding is scheduled. Christmas, winter theme, summer theme or fall theme. Wedding favors also makes it easier for couples to select the right giveaway for the event. Creative couples can also use their resourcefulness to craft their own wedding favors. Wedding songs recorded on compact discs are popular wedding favors that let couples share their special day with guests for years to come. At any rate, the choice of wedding favors is limited only by the couple's imagination. Wedding flowers, warm or pastel shades. No matter what type of wedding you are planning, whether it is going to be a big fancy formal affair or a simple informal one, it will almost certainly involve flowers. When you combine the beauty and fragrance of flowers with natural light, candles and soft, tinted electric lighting, the effect can be breathtaking. To set a romantic scene for the wedding, match the ribbons, flowers and lights in warm or pastel shades to complement or match your color scheme. If you are going to need a lot of flowers, give your florist plenty of notice so that he can free up time to get your order ready. How do you decide the amount of flowers that you will need? Make yet another list. Who needs flowers? The bride, maid of honor, bridesmaid, flower girl, mothers of the bride and groom, boutonnieres for the groom, ushers, fathers of the bride and groom, grandparents of both the bride and groom. That's a lot of flowers, but wait, there are more. You'll want flowers for the church and for the tables at the reception. When you visit the florist for the first time, bring pictures of your dress, the bridesmaids' dresses, and the dresses both mothers will be wearing. Also bring the groom's tux if it's any other color but black or white, so that the colors of flowers and ribbons won't clash with anyone's clothes. A good florist will help you choose the perfect flowers to go with your styles and colors. You may want to ask him to make you a small additional bouquet to throw so you can have your bouquet preserved. Bring pictures of bouquets and arrangements from magazines that you like so that he can understand your preferences and style. You will save money if you stick with seasonal flowers, because it can cost a lot of money and time if the florist has to special order your flowers. There will also be an extra charge for shipping. Sometimes, when a parent, sibling or grandparent of either the bride or groom has passed away within the past year, the couple will stop at the cemetery on the way to the reception and place a single flower on the grave. Do this only if it will not be too stressful for you or your new husband. If a member of the immediate family is in a local hospital, brides and grooms often stop there on the way to the reception to let the patient know they are loved and missed. Before ordering flowers for the ceremony, check with the church and see if there are size restrictions. Flowers for the reception should complement or match the flowers you and the bridesmaids will be carrying. What do you do with all of the beautiful arrangements on the tables after the wedding? Some couples have a drawings for each table to decide who gets to take the arrangements home. Others donate them to a nursing home or women's shelter to share their happiness in a small way with others. Did you know that in ancient times brides carried fresh flowers to mask the smell of people who didn't bathe on a regular basis? Wedding catering, buffet or service. Another conundrum for soon-to-be married couples is the dilemma of having servers versus having a buffet for the reception. Both have their advantages and disadvantages, so let's look at both sides before you make your decision. At the buffet table, the first and most obvious upshot of having a buffet-style dinner at the wedding is the opportunity for all of the guests to choose what they want to eat. This way everyone is happy and they can have as much or as little as they want. There can be multiple things and various dietary restrictions, as well as a multitude of side dishes for the vegetarian that hates getting pasta at every wedding. But the downside of the buffet table is that things that are popular will run out. If you don't plan ahead for shortages, then you may have guests that didn't get what they really wanted to eat. In terms of movement, the buffet table can be tricky. The bride may have troubles moving up there and might be afraid to spill anything on her dress, as other may be as well. Trying to find ways to serve items without having a large opportunity for spillage will help to avoid any dry cleaning bills. The service is excellent. Having servers for the reception is a classy and easy way to keep everyone happy during the reception. Not only will number one have to move until the dance, but the servers can also attend to any problems without the couple even knowing about them. Drinks can also be served, which is wonderful for everyone, no more needing to get up and down during dinner. On the other hand, this excellent service does come with a price tag. It'll be costlier to have staff waiting on the guests, especially with more guests. You'll also take the chance of the staff being nice to the head table and not to the rest of the guests. The best advice is to interview each staff member as well before the reception. Both buffets and service are great options for reception dinners. If you're looking for something a little more casual, then the buffet will be great, but for the more formal occasion, service is best. You may want to stop and consider your guests at this point. If they're older and don't move around well, service is a great way to keep them comfortable. Wedding customs around the world. Want to make your wedding extra special? Consider choosing elements from traditional wedding ceremonies around the world. Here are some of the ways lovers come together for a lifetime in different cultures. You may find some unique ideas to personalize your own day of days. Africa. Did you know that in some modern-day African tribes, the wrists of the bride and groom are still bound with braided grass ties to symbolize their union? Spain. The brides of early Spain got to wear what may be the most beautiful of all wedding headdresses: delicate lace mantillas over the hair with orange blossoms judiciously tucked in. China. The color of love in China is red, and the bridal gown was a brilliant red until just recently in that country. Party favors, flowers, candles and so on were also typically a bright and glowing scarlet. Russia. Party favors to express appreciation to the wedding guests include tiny pictures, small candies or other exquisite little items. Mexico. Several nice traditions still survive in old Mexican wedding ceremonies. One custom encircles the bride and groom in a loose lasso made of some pretty soft cord twisted into a figure 8 or infinity symbol. Finland. Brides of old in Finland got to wear a crown of gold, which was featured in their Dance of the Crowns. The crown, a gold-colored wreath wrapped prettily around the bride's head, was used to crown another maiden during the dance. Ireland. Instead of the usual white wedding cake, Irish wedding receptions feature a brandy or bourbon-soaked fruit cake, heavy on the spice. Italy. In Italy, the wedding guests toss what they call confetti, which is not colored paper, but almonds sprinkled with sugar. You will almost surely find these almonds gathered into pretty nets, tied with a bow and given out as thank yous to wedding guests. Poland. This country originated what's known as the money dance, a popular custom which has now made its way into many other cultures' wedding parties. The guests dance with the couple and pin money to their clothes to give them a little start in their new life. Germany. A lovely idea for using candles comes to us from Germany. The custom is for the wedding couple to both hold decorated candles, which are then lit when the ceremony concludes. Happy wedding. Blessed life. Wedding ceremony music. Music is an essential part of our daily lives, and it has the power to make your wedding ceremony a truly special occasion. Because so much depends on the music you've to make sure you plan it carefully. The music you chose can make or break your event. When choosing your wedding ceremony music, be sure you select music that corresponds with the formality of the wedding. Among other things, keep in mind the religious affiliation and the length of the ceremony when planning the music. If your ceremony is held in a church, you can expect help from the church organist. Before you finalize your wedding ceremony music, there are a few important issues to consider. 3 common musical categories. Classical. This genre of music conforms to an established form and appeals to critical interest and developed musical taste. Examples of classical wedding music are Canon in D, Johann Pachelbel, Bridal Chorus from Lohengrin, Richard Wagner, also known as Here Comes the Bride at Air, from Water Music Suite, George Frederick Handel, The Prince of Denmark's March Trumpet Voluntary in D major, Jeremiah Clarke, Guitar Concerto in D major Largo, Antonio Vivaldi, Coronation March 4th, Tsar Alexander III, Peter I, Tchaikovsky, Overture, from Royal Fireworks Music, George Frederick Handel, Promenade, from Pictures at an Exhibition, Modest Mussorgsky, Sinfonia, from Cantata No. 156, Johann Sebastian Bach, Cantata No. 29, Johann Sebastian Bach, Prelude and Fugue in C, Johann Sebastian Bach, Toccata, from L'Orfeo, Claudio Monteverdi, Romance, from String Quartet, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Piano Concerto No. 21 in C major, Elvira Madigan, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Trumpet Tune in A major, David N. Johnson, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Incidental Music Opus 61, Wedding March, Felix Mendelssohn, Winter Largo or Spring Allegro, from The Four Seasons, Antonio Vivaldi, Aldi, sacred. Sacred music is dedicated to religious themes and symbols. It's music considered worthy of religious ceremony. Schedule a time to meet with the church organist before you begin selecting your ceremony music. Beware that some churches have very firm rules on what music is used in liturgical settings. The church organist should be well qualified to help you in selecting your wedding ceremony music. Secular. Secular music is dedicated to non-religious subject matter. It's not necessarily forbidden during religious service, but you've to confirm with your house of worship that your chosen music is approved. Examples of secular wedding music are At Last, Etta James, Only Time, Enya, Come Away With Me, Norah Jones, Appalachia Waltz, Yo-Yo Ma, Edgar Meyer, Mark O'Connor, Unforgettable, Nat King Cole and Natalie Cole, It's Only Time, Magnetic Fields, The Look of Love, Dionne Warwick, Burt Bacharach, The Vow, Jeremy Lubbock, Come What May, Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor, Storybook Love from the movie The Princess Bride, Willie DeVille, Wedding Processional, From the Sound of Music, Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein, Can't Help Falling in Love, Elvis Presley, What a Wonderful World, Louis Armstrong, When I'm 6 to 4, The Beatles, Wedding Dress Fashion for 2006. Crystals and gemstones make this year's wedding gown sparkle. Today's bride looks best when she's expressing herself and showing off her own unique style. Whether you've imagined your wedding gown for as long as you can remember or you only know the size and color, there's something out there for your special day. Today's modern bride loves the look of the couture runway but not the price tag. According to WeddingChannel.com editor Marilyn Oliveira, making your dress stand out is all about the details, not the cost. Find a dress that you love and that accentuates your figure. If you are not sure what type of gown would look best on you, consult a bridal gown professional. Choose a professional who offers a wide variety of styles, fabrics, sizes and prices, so that you'll have lots of options. Odds are they can select quite a few dresses that are flattering to your figure. Bridal websites are also a useful resource for information. WeddingChannel.com, for example, features more than 35,000 bridal fashion images to inspire brides. Strapless dresses continue to be a timeless choice for many brides. This look provides an air of elegance and prestige that's flattering on most figures. This style can also be accessorized in many ways and is available in a multitude of fabrics to fit your specific taste. Bridal designers are delivering fresh new takes on wedding fashion that look fabulous now and forever. Here are a few tips to make your gown dazzle. And #8226. Brides are glamming up their wedding dresses with metallic thread embroidery and trails of tiny buttons. And #8226. Bows, feathers, lace, ruffles, and tiers of fabric are ultra feminine and sexy. And #8226. Strategically placed rhinestones, pearls and beads create spectacular designs to make you look and feel glamorous. And #8226. Luxurious as satin yet light as a cloud, taffeta rustles up high drama without getting heavy. Wedding favors featuring lily pads. Brides and grooms continue to come up with new ideas for wedding favors. Some want elegant silver frames. Some look for redneck wedding favors and some simply want wedding favors that will go with their theme. Lily pad wedding favors. Lily pad wedding favors are wonderful for a garden wedding, especially if there is a garden pond where lily pads grow. A lily pad wedding favor can take several different forms. We went looking for the most beautiful lily pad wedding favor ideas we could find. Here are a dozen of our results. Floating lily pad and flower. This 5 lily pad wedding favor is made of polysilk and really floats. Tiny acrylic water drops give it lasting morning freshness. Its pink and creamy white colors glow above a dark green lily pad. At a bit over $1, this is a cheap but beautiful lily pad wedding favor. Lily pad CD cover. Fill these lovely CD covers with mini CD photo albums of the bride and groom, or with their favorite music for a welcome lily pad wedding favor. Lily pad gourmet cookies. Have a local bakery shape gourmet cookies as lily pads with flowers. Tell the baker your color scheme and ask that the flowers be tinted to match for beautiful lily pad wedding favors. Frog soap on silk lily pad leaf. Ponds that are home to water lilies and lily pads are also home to frogs. Place a small silk lily pad at each place and top with a green glycerin soap frog wearing a crown. Such a lily pad wedding favor says, "At last my prince has come." Lily pad with frog soap. This is a different decorative soap gift. The frog and lily pad both are soap. This is not a cheap lily pad wedding favor, but it is quite a conversation piece. Floating lily pad candles. Water lily candles can float in small bowls at each guest's place. You could light these 2.5 lily pad wedding favors or leave them unburnt for guests to enjoy at home. Chocolate molded frog on lily pad. Lily pad wedding favors can show up in the strangest places. We found these advertised for Harry Potter parties, but the lily pad theme would make these perfect for wedding favors as well. Frog on lily pad bouncing balls. On a less serious note, we found these cute 2 balls. At 50 cents each, they could be combined with another wedding favor to equal a lily pad wedding favor. Lily pad keychain. This one requires a little work. Purchase the kind of keychain that has a place to carry a photo. Print small copies of your favorite lily pad photo on cardstock and slip one into each keychain for a unique lily pad wedding favor. Choose a photo that matches your wedding color scheme so they will look great on your tables. Alternatively, use a classic show-off key ring for lily pad wedding favors. Have your lily pad graphic custom imprinted on both sides in colors you choose. Lily pad mint tins. Many places offer to personalize your mint tins. Find one that offers or will print tins with lily pads. Add your names and the date for a memorable lily pad wedding favor. Lily pad bottle labels. Order small bottles of sparkling cider or water with labels featuring your favorite water lily and lily pad. Add your names and date to the label for personalized lily pad wedding favors. Water lily simmer snaps. These unique wickless wax candles are scented with the fragrance of water lilies. As a lily pad wedding favor, you could give each guest a package of 2 simmer snaps. Each package has a beautiful lily pad and flower in full color on the front. When searching for lily pad wedding favors, try a variety of words. Lily pads are part of lotus flowers as well as water lilies. Use both terms in your search. Remove the words wedding favors and you may find something unique, as we did with the Harry Potter party chocolates. Add frog or other amphibious creatures that might live among lily pads. Wedding favors. Practical favors favored by all. The bride and groom are now man and wife at the time when the giving of wedding gift favors is appropriate. Now that the perfect wedding ceremony has come to an end, tokens of gratitude are presented to family and friends to say thank you for being part of our special day. There are fabulous items in abundance to give as your wedding favors, but deciding what they are to be is the problem. The size of your guest list and budget allowance will most definitely have an effect on what you give as your thank you token. Money will dominate and may well limit your choice of the wedding gift favors. Problems like this are easily solved on *invite anyone or elope. Just a suggestion, but if you intend on sticking around for the big day, then bulk buy to cut costs. Going back in time when gift favors came into existence, it was believed that the married couple were showered with luck if gift giving took place. By giving a thank you donation to all attendees, then it was considered that the bride and groom intentions were to share their luck wedding favors, and their beginning became traditional among upper-class people hundreds of years ago. In Italy and France, bonbonnieres were given to each guest as wedding favors. These dainty delicacies were placed into fancy boxes which could be made of porcelain or crystal embedded with precious sparkling stones. Later down the line, others followed suit with this practice of giving wedding favors. To sweeten up the occasion, almonds became popular at weddings. Almonds were supposed to denote happiness, wealth, health, and fertility. Even though these almond favors were given in the history years, they're very common at modern weddings today, all sugared up and candy coated. We now live in a different era where the giving of wedding favors still stands, if not with more preferences than the days gone by. It is a very important part of a wedding. Practical thinking on wedding favors makes practical gifts. Useful items that can be used in the kitchen or bathroom are great ideas brought into force in many modern weddings. Not all wedding favors were of this nature. Things like personalized candles and smellies were warmly welcomed by guests. At the end of the day, this is your wedding and your word is final on what to give. As long as those final words "I do" took at the altar came from the heart, then that alone will stay with your guests as a keepsake in memory for years to come. Wedding dresses. Undoubtedly, a wedding is one of the most precious and memorable moments in life. To make this occasion more remarkable, certain customs have been practiced, like the special wedding dress, the wedding cake, etc. The bride's dress is given special importance and care is taken to make her look like an angel in her beautiful wedding gown. The phrase, dressed up, is perfectly suited for a wedding, where both the bride and the groom are in their best attire. The wedding dress is the dress worn by the bride during the wedding ceremony. Dress maketh a man. Befittingly, the wedding dress or the bridal gown is usually gorgeous and graceful to reflect the most precious moment in life, marriage. The color, texture, design, etc. of the wedding gown is naturally the bride's choice. White is a popular color for American wedding dresses as white is associated with qualities like purity, peace and chastity. Nevertheless, the gown may also be in shades of white like ivory or eggshell. The background of the wedding governs the nature of the wedding attire. In other words, the society, the culture and the customs followed by the parties involved in the wedding are key factors in the making of the wedding dress. In the earlier days, any color other than black or red was acceptable for the wedding gown. A face veil was also worn. Wedding favors ideas you want to know. Sending guests home with a little something to remember the night by is a classy touch to any wedding. And they don't have to be extravagant gifts to make a nice impression. Do you buy or do you make? When it comes to the list of things to do for a wedding, you may already be feeling overwhelmed. So why make another chore for yourself with homemade wedding favors? Favors can be easily bought from local craft stores. All you have to do is make them personalized, or don't. Of course, homemade wedding do feel more special. Sachets and small tokens are simple to create in an afternoon. You may even decide to enlist the help of the wedding party. A little food and win will get them to help. The usual suspects. If you've ever been to another wedding, you may have already seen these suggestions for wedding favors. Small bags of candies or nuts are always nice to place next to each person's placeholder. On the same vein, small boxes of chocolate with a nice ribbon or card indicating the wedding date are nice favors too. Many brides and grooms have chosen to give personalized wedding favors. Matchbooks, candles with holders, champagne glasses and even CDs can be inscribed with the couple's name and wedding date as a way to commemorate the day. If you want to be unique. For the non-traditional bride and groom, you may want to give a little something different. If you've a themed wedding, you can try to give a gift that incorporates that theme. A Vegas wedding might necessitate giving decks of cards or poker chips. If you are having a more Renaissance-style affair, then you can give small sachets of herbs or flowers such as lavender. And for an outdoor wedding, small bells might be a great gift to give. The altruistic couple may want to make personal donations in the name of their guests. These can be designated on small cards at each person's seat. Or the couple may decide to offer each guest a picture from the wedding that they can choose from the ones that have been taken. In any case, wedding favors are a great way to commemorate a special day for both the couple and their guests. Thank your relatives and friends for supporting you and loving you enough to be with you on this happiest of days. Wedding flowers for a miraculous day. A quick guide to planning your wedding flowers. You've set the special day and there is so much to do to get ready. The excitement is consuming you to the point that you just want to burst, and there are so many preparations that you barely know where to start. So just relax for a minute, take a deep breath and read this quick and easy guide to help reduce stress and help ensure a picture-perfect day with these easy tips from design professionals. First things first. One of the first things you need to do in planning your wedding is to select the dresses. You can call your florist up to a year in advance, but you usually won't need to meet with him/her until you know what you and your bridesmaids will be wearing. The bride and bridesmaids' gowns will be the key to the wedding, and everything will need to revolve around them. Once you've selected the gowns, get a few pictures to bring in. Next, pick up 2 or 3 of the top bridal magazines and look through them. Clip pictures of any floral presentations that particularly appeal to you. These will help your floral consultant understand the styles, colors and flower types you like best and design something that will fit your tastes. Choosing a wedding florist. Before calling florists, ask friends and relatives if they've any recommendations. The best wedding florists typically do lots of weddings. So it's likely you know people who have used their services or seen their work. Weddings. Why the fuss? Can't be that difficult. We will begin by defining what a marriage is. It's the union of 2 souls, 2 hearts, 2 minds, 2 people and 1 love. It's a commitment that you make with your partner as long as you both shall live. A marriage should be both give and take, and in an ideal world a marriage is made in heaven and solemnized on earth and therefore should last forever. It should be a relationship from which you get everything you both want. Unfortunately, quite often it does not end up that way. A lot of the time this is due to inaction rather than actions. There are sources where you can get resources aimed at helping you in this endeavor from the outset. You have dreamed of your wedding for years. Come on, ladies, we know you've. Blokes, well, they won't admit that they have, even if they did. You can use your attitude and thinking to mold and manifest the life you want and see amazing improvements over time. Make no mistake, your life will end up the way you both decide. Whether that is consciously or not is entirely up to you. Marriage lasts forever. Understandably, there is major importance attached to the longevity of a marriage. A wedding, on the other hand, is only 1 or 2 days where you gather with loved ones to celebrate the decision to marry one another forever. It's probably not difficult to organize a bog standard wedding, but come on, you or your partner didn't dream about that, did you? We're sure you wanted the best day ever, right? Well, don't be fooled then. A wedding is much more than just 1 or 2 days. You'll need to be up to speed on everything that needs to be done up to 1 year in advance to make that day or two as special as you envisaged it to be in your dreams. As mentioned before, our aim is to help you with this by providing a detailed series of e-books that will help you step by step through the wedding process, which will ultimately aid you in ensuring you've a stress-free pre-wedding period, wedding day and married life thereafter. Wedding FAQ. Answers for planning and paying for your wedding. How far in advance should I begin planning my wedding? It's recommended that you begin planning your wedding at least a year in advance. Not all couples do this, but it is a best way if you want to make your wedding wonderful and almost perfect. How far in advance should I send out wedding announcements? Usually, wedding announcements should be sent out 8 weeks prior to the wedding date. In this way, you give your guests enough time to plan for your big day, and you also get a better idea of how many guests will attend. Who should pay for a wedding? Since it's your wedding, talk with your fiancé about who should pay for what. These days, the traditional rules about who pays for things have become more relaxed. However, traditionally the groom or his family pays for the bride's rings, the honeymoon, the marriage license, the groomsman's gifts, accommodations for out-of-town groomsmen, the bride's bouquet, corsages for mothers and special ladies' boutonnieres for men in the wedding party, gloves, ties and accessories for the men in the wedding party, fee for clergyman or judge who performs the ceremony, clothing for the men in the wedding party, the rehearsal dinner the bride or her family pays for, the costs of the reception, the bride's wedding attire, trousseau, invitations, announcements, thank you notes, the seating assignment chart, napkins and mailing cost, photographer, videographer, ceremony costs, except for clergyman's fee, bridesmaids, flower girl, ring bearer, flowers and accessories, transportation for bridal party on wedding day from ceremony to reception, gratuities for all services, the bridesmaids' luncheon. How can I keep my wedding costs down? When it comes to paying for a wedding, some people really experience headaches over it. But you can avoid this if you follow some of these suggestions. Think of the most important features for your wedding. Get the services of a wedding coordinator and a registrar if they are able to lower the costs of your wedding even a little bit. Consider using a simple white car, maybe even a borrowed car instead of a limousine on your wedding day. Shop around for the honeymoon. Look for cheaper but elegant restaurants for your reception. If you've a friend who knows how to take pictures and videos, assign him/her that job instead of hiring the services of professional ones. Shop wisely for the wedding rings. Wedding flowers. The ultimate decoration. Flowers add color and fragrance to any occasion. Throughout history of humankind, flowers have been associated with love, purity, freshness and other emotions. Flowers are used in birth ceremonies, romance, marriages, death, etc. The flowers of different colors symbolize different emotions. Red roses are symbols of love, beauty and passion. Red poppies are worn to commemorate deaths of soldiers. Lilies are used in burials for symbolizing resurrection after death. Daisies represent innocence. The usage of flowers in weddings date back to the ancient ages. Flowers and herbs adorned the veils of brides in Rome. Ivies were used in Greek weddings to symbolize eternal love. The Saracens used orange blossoms as wedding flowers. Wedding flowers enhance the ambience of the wedding and are the right carriers to convey the emotions of the ceremony. Types of flowers. The usual flowers used for wedding are lilies, roses, orchids, and other flowers. Roses include jacaranda, bridal pink, Dolores, candia, sterling silver, Sonia, Lady Diana, Jacqueline Kennedy, etc. Lilies include lily of the valley, zephyr lily, rubrum day lilies, calla, etc. Orchids include Japhet, Phalaenopsis, spray orchids, Dendrobium, Cymbidium, Cattleya, etc. Other flowers that are used in weddings are violets, amaryllis, daffodils, asters, anemones, chrysanthemums, daisies, forget-me-not, gardenia, gladiolus, lilac and iris, etc. Budgeting for wedding flowers. Budgeting is very important for obtaining flowers economically. The best way to reduce the cost is to opt for in-season flowers. The flowers out of season will be costly. It's prudent to contact a florist well in advance since flowers ordered in haste will neither be to taste and will nor be economical. Florists. Weddings are hectic and demanding as many decisions like venue, ceremonial style, guests, food and other arrangements are to be taken into account. So it's better to leave the arrangements of flowers to florists. A photograph of wedding gown and a sample cloth piece of wedding gown should be shown to the florist for him to decide the best flowers to suit the dress. Floral arrangements. Floral arrangements are required for bridal bouquet, headdress, wedding table, wedding cake, etc. Florists usually do floral arrangements. Some headdresses contain flowers, so care must be taken that the bridal bouquet and the headdress match. Wedding flowers color and shape. Traditionally, the color of flowers is white, as white symbolizes purity and virginity. However, sometimes the colors of wedding flowers are changed to match the wedding gown and the general scheme of wedding. Various shapes of bouquets are available like round posy, cascade, waterfall, etc. The shape of bouquet should be chosen considering the height, skin tone, shape, etc. of the bride. Silk flowers. Scented silk flowers are also being used nowadays as they have longevity and can be kept as a memory of the wedding day. There is no fear of the flowers wilting of the flowers due to heat during the wedding. However, they don't feel like real flowers. Wedding flowers add color and aroma to a wedding. Wedding flowers increase the attractiveness of the bride to a higher level. Hence, the choice of wedding flowers should be done with thought and care. Wedding favor ideas. Tips for planning weddings. If you've ever attended a wedding, you probably remember the keepsakes that the bride and groom gave their guests. Giving each guest a wedding favor is part of the tradition of the wedding ceremony. Any bridal shop will have various wedding favors from which you can choose. For a more unique touch, you can design and create your own style of wedding favor to give guests. Not only does this add a special touch to the ceremony, but it also provides an opportunity for the individuals in the wedding party to spend time together before the ceremony in an occasion that is not as hectic. A customized wedding favor can also save you money since you can usually buy the materials you need at any hobby shop. More than a keepsake. A wedding favor can serve many purposes. A keepsake is the main reason that people give a wedding favor at weddings. A wedding favor can also serve the purpose of sending off the bride and grooms. A very popular wedding favor that you can make without spending much time and money are bubbles. When the wedding couple is leaving for their honeymoon venture, the guests generally send off the couple with a cloud of bubbles. When you make the decision to give each guest a wedding favor that's memorable, it's a good idea to come up with a wedding favor idea that is associated with the bride and groom. Adding your unique touch. In addition to being a keepsake, a wedding favor should be unique. To make a wedding favor unique, you can add a twist to a traditional idea or create something completely your own. Divinity or candy is a common gift that you can dress up with decorative containers or wrappings. It's completely acceptable to make the candy or divinity yourself or have someone with cooking skills take care of this for you. A candle makes an excellent wedding favor because there are so many fragrances, colors and accessories that you can use to make them a unique wedding favor. If you go with candles as a wedding favor, you might consider taking a candle making class. Check your local area to see if any of the hobby shops have candle making classes. This is a fun activity that the entire wedding party can participate in. Cost. You don't have to spend a lot of money to create a unique wedding favor to give their wedding guests. It's an unspoken truth that a wedding favor is inexpensive. Even if you are creating the most formal wedding ceremony, your wedding favor should be simple and cheap. Wedding favor how-tos. Wedding favors are a way of spreading joy and showing your guests your appreciation for sharing your special day with you and your new husband. Favors are not a requirement, but they are a fun way to share your wedding day memories. There are many ways of distributing wedding favors. Guests usually find favors waiting for them at each place setting when they arrive to the reception. This is probably the most traditional way of giving your favors. Today, brides have so many choices when it comes to wedding favors. You've selected the perfect favor, why not find a special way to present them? Here are some ideas. Set up a table next to your cake table, with a beautiful display of your wedding favors. When the waiters are serving the cake, they can also hand a favor to each guest as a thank you from the bride and groom. The attendant responsible for orchestrating the cake cutting could also incorporate into his or her speech the favors and remind your guests to pick one up. Bottle stoppers or keepsake favors are perfect for a display table. Hand out your wedding favors together with your new husband as you visit each guest table during your reception. What a personal way of thanking your guests. Use your favors as escort cards when your guests arrive to the reception. Personalized chocolate can be the perfect seating card. Have just a couple of lines printed on the front where you can use a gold or silver pen to fill in guests' names and the table number. Use the back of the chocolate to print your personal thank you message. Ask the catering staff to distribute your favors to your guests during a thank you speech from you and your husband. Make your favors part of your table decorations. Use candle favors to illuminate your reception area. Candles are also perfect keepsakes for your guest. Use keepsake placecard holders. These beautiful keepsakes serve a dual purpose. They help your guests to find their seats, and they are keepsake favors they can take with them. Use placecard frames, and when you send out your thank you notes, why not include a photo of your wedding that is the perfect size for the frames your guests received at your reception. Finding the perfect favor is fun and exciting. Present your guest with a thank you gift that they will enjoy and treasure long after your wedding. Wedding favors. Glass love coasters. At a wedding, glass love coasters are a good way to thank guests for their attendance. Glass love coasters are a wonderfully romantic yet practical wedding favor. The 3.5 by 3.5, or 4x4, coasters feature a bold design spelling out love, a letter in each quadrant of the coaster. 2 of the 4 quadrants are white and 2 are clear. A free-form heart in the center ties the letters together. The design is frosted on the underside of each coaster. With proper care, it will last through years of use, reminding friends and family of your special occasion. At your wedding, glass love coasters can be separated out of the boxes and presented individually to guests. This works well if your wedding favor budget is limited. Guests often receive only one coaster as a wedding favor and will not be offended. Simply discard the boxes and place a love coaster at each table setting with a note. Or scatter love coasters around the room for convenience. With a larger budget for your wedding, glass love coasters can be presented as a set of 4. They're packaged in sets of 4, nestled in a clear box and tied with white ribbon. Even as a full set, glass love coasters make an affordable wedding favor. We found them online for just $1.75 USD per box of 4. Glass love coasters are not just wedding favors, of course. They're good anywhere love is the theme: bridal showers, anniversary parties, Valentine's Day parties, and more. For a wedding, glass love coasters fit easily with any color scheme, any theme, and any season. They are elegant enough to be for wedding favors, yet casual enough to be informal wedding favors. They're available in clear or mirrored glass finish. Unique glass love coasters. Glass love coaster wedding favors are so popular that no one would call them unique. Variations, however, may be unique where you live. Here are examples of glass love coasters we found online. 1. Amer glass coasters. In Roman mythology, Amer was the god of love. You might say he was Cupid. These wedding favor coasters use the 4 letters of his name in the quadrants of the square glass coasters. The quadrants alternate between clear and frosted glass. These wedding favors come 4 in a box. 2. Asian love glass coasters. These unique wedding favors announce your love in several languages. Framed by clear lines around the frosted squares, an Asian calligraphic character for love is subtitled in English with the word love in script. This wedding favor comes 2 to a box. 3. Don't leave before you press like button below and subscribe to this channel. As a subscriber you will receive a new notifications every time a new video is uploaded. Good luck.